tonight we're going to be taking a little bit of a break from 4 Against Darkness. We've played 4 Against Darkness almost every week for the past couple of months, so we're going to try out a different dungeon crawler tonight. And the game we're going to be playing is, as you can see, Mini Rogue. I found out about this game from the excellent channel, The Dungeon Delve, and this game was highly recommended. So I bought it and gave it a try, and I really enjoyed it. So tonight we're going to be playing through one dungeon of Mini Rogue. Now this game does have a campaign, but I've never tried it, and I don't think I want to get into a campaign right away. I think I just want to do a single standalone dungeon first, and if we're liking the game and want to do some more videos of it, then maybe we can try a campaign. So this is the campaign. It's got kind of a choose your own adventure type of setup, where you start here and then you make decisions, and depending on the decisions you make, you go to different spots, and then you'll have to play different dungeons. But we're not going to be doing that today. So in order to play this game, we need some materials. It's not just a pen and paper game. It comes with lots of stuff that you'll need to play the game. So to start, we have the dungeon board, I think it's called, or the dungeon card, I'm not sure. But this is going to allow us to track where we are in the dungeon, as well as how much HP the enemy has. Now I think we're actually going to play the tower, because the tower is a little bit easier, and I want to actually try to complete a dungeon in this video, like go from start to finish. And if we do the harder one, I might just end up dying early. So we're going to do the easier one for today, and then maybe we'll do the harder one later. So this is another one of the character cards, and on the back you can see a skill tree. This is for the campaign mode. We're not going to be using the skill tree, but if we were playing the campaign, that is where we would keep track of our character progression. Here we've got the rule book. We'll keep this handy just in case we need to check it for anything. This is another reference. We already have these. It comes with kind of 2 of everything because this is also a co-op game, but we're just going to be playing it single player. Now here we have the cards. These are very important. This is where most of the game is going to happen. We've got some tokens here. These are based on the classes. We're going to be playing the rogue. I always like playing the rogue, so we'll take out the rogue token. We also have some, I believe they're called meeples. We're going to take this one because again we're playing as the rogue. Although they only give you one for the rogue and the mage. It didn't come with meeples for the other 2 classes, so I guess you just have to use the tokens. But I don't like to use the tokens for reasons I'll get into. Now, before we get into the dice and the cubes, let's take a look at the cards. So this is our reference card for rewards and ghosts. So we'll keep this handy. We'll have to reference this at some point. Next we have our character cards and our combat stance cards. So these are our character class cards. Each class gets different starting stats as well as different abilities. We're going to play as the rogue, so I'll just take the rest of these character cards and put them off to the side. The combat stances, we only need 1 of these. This lets you modify the way your rolls work in combat. You can kind of use them strategically depending on the situation. Let's put these. Next, let's take a look at these other cards. These cards with the brown doors are bosses. The final boss is always the same. It is always Ox Remains. So let's put that face down. And then we need 3 other bosses. And there are 4. So we'll just shuffle up the cards. Take the top one, put it off to the side, and then the other 3 go on top of the final boss. And the rest of these cards are room cards. And we'll go over how you deal with these when we reach them. Now, let's get our dice and cubes. So, we need 3 of the white dice, 1 of the black dice, and 1 of the green and purple dice. We start with 1 of the white and 1 of the black. We'll put them over here by our character. And the other 3 go off to the side for now. Next, we need cubes. So we need 3 of the gray cubes, 2 of the purple cubes, 1 of the yellow cubes, 2 of the red cubes, 1 of the black cubes, 1 of the blue cubes, and 1 of the brown cubes. And I believe that's it. We'll put the rest of this off to the side. Now let's set up all of this stuff. 1 of the red cubes goes here on the monster HP. The other one goes on our HP. We're playing as the rogue, so we start with 10 HP. So we'll put ourselves up to 10. Now, from what I read in the rules, it does not seem like 10 is our maximum HP. It seems like it's just our starting HP, so we can go above 10. We just start at 10. Now we start with 5 gold, so let's take the yellow and put it on 5. We start with 3 food, so let's take the brown and put it on 3. We start with 0 XP always, so we'll put our blue cube on 0. And now the 2 purple cubes go on the potions. So we don't start with any potions, but when we get potions, we'll move this purple cube onto whichever potion we get. The black cube goes on the first area right there, number 1. And the gray cubes, 1 of them goes on our armor. We don't start with any armor, so we put it on 0. Another one goes over here on our combat stance. We'll put it on balanced to indicate that we're using the balanced combat stance. And then this one we'll put off to the side. We'll use that one if we find an item, because items have uses, and you can use this to mark how many uses you have remaining. Now we're almost ready to start. All we have to do is take the room cards and shuffle them up. Alright, now we will deal out our first area. Each area is a 3x3 grid of cards. And we'll put the rest of the cards over here. Now, you, the player, always start in the upper left and have to make your way to the lower right. So we start in a corridor, and this room type is called a tomb. So a tomb, perform a skill check if successful. You may modify the result of the dungeon die by +1 or -1. Otherwise, you must accept the result of the dungeon die. And that's indicated here. You can see that is the skill check symbol. Hang on, let me just make sure. Yes, that is on screen. Okay, so that is the skill check symbol. And it means if we pass a skill check, we can add or subtract 1 from our roll. So we roll the dungeon dice and the character dice. we rolled a 1, the X is 1, so we failed the skill check, and we rolled a 5, which is rickety planks. And it's a good thing that we're playing on the tower. If we were playing in the dungeon, we would have to drop down a floor, which is really bad because it puts you way behind in experience. But we're playing on the tower, so there is no falling. Instead, we just take the -2 HP. So we go down to 8 HP. Now once you resolve the room, you reveal the room to the right and the room below, and you can choose which one you want to go to. You can only move to the right or down. You cannot move left or up. So if you're at the bottom, you have to go to the right. If you're at the right, you have to go down. Now we can choose between the crow or the trap. The crow is an item, the trap is a trap. So traps perform a skill check. If successful, earn the reward in the success column corresponding to the dungeon die roll. Otherwise, update your character stats according to the failure column. Oh, I forgot to mention that when a skill check is either a 5 or a 6. So you need to roll a 5 or a 6 for a successful skill check. So if we do the trap, there's a good chance that something bad is going to happen. A 2 in 3 chance that something bad is going to happen, and a 1 in 3 chance that something good is going to happen. Now if we go down, we have an item. Item, read the icons in the banner to see how to take the item. If you take it, set it aside. You can only have one item at a time. So I don't really like the crow that much. You can see here we have to spend 1 food to take the crow. Otherwise the crow takes 1 gold from us. Or we can go for the trap. I think I'm gonna do the crow. I'm not gonna take the crow. I don't want to give up food. So we'll just let the crow steal 1 gold from us. And we'll reveal the next 2 rooms. Now here we've got another tomb, the damp cave, or another trap. Let's go down to the tomb. And we roll again for a skill check. We rolled a 4, so we failed the skill check. And we got a 6, that is the dotted cap, which means we are poisoned. Now what happens when you get poisoned? You take the green die and add it to your pool. And now whenever you roll, you have to roll the green die, and if it comes up with the poison symbol on top, then you have to take 1 damage. Let's continue. We've got a treasure. We have to pass a skill check to take the treasure. And we can see as soon as you enter the room, you get +1 gold if no monster or trap was encountered. You get +3 if a monster or trap was encountered. We did not encounter one, so we get 1 gold, putting us back up to 5. So the gold that the crow stole from us, we just got it back. And now we roll the skill check. So we rolled a 3, so we failed the skill check. And we rolled the poison, so we lose 1 HP. And now we reach the end of the area. Now, when you reach the end of the area, these 3 things happen. First, you lose 1 food. Second, if you used one of your skills, which we did not, then you refresh your skills. So when you use a skill, you flip your card like this, and then when you see this symbol, you refresh your skills. And then we move to the next area, which is what that symbol means. So we move from 1 to 2. And then you take all of the room cards, you put them back in the deck, and you reshuffle, and then you redeal another area. Now we don't fight a boss yet. You fight a boss when you reach this card in one of the areas that has the boss symbol on the dungeon card. Okay, let's deal out area 2. So there are 10 areas, so we are 1/10 through the game now. Oh, and I said before that I prefer using the meeples to the tokens. That's just because you can put the meeples like this, and then you can still see the art of the card. But if you're using the token, you put the token like this. Look how much of the card the token covers up. I don't like that. I want to see the art, so I like the meeples instead. So we get a trap. Let's roll the skill check. We fail the skill check, and it was a rat swarm, which means we lose food equal to our floor. We're on floor 1, the gate, so we lose 1 food. And that's it. We move on to the next room. We can choose the damp cave, or we can fight our first monster, the goblin spider. I think I'm going to do the damp cave because we're running low on food. The way food works is that if you reach this part of the area and you don't have 1 food to pay, you lose 3 HP, which is a lot. So we're going to see if we can get any food from the damp cave. We rolled a 4. No, the opposite happened. We rolled the beige cap, so we lose food. Alright, well, we are not doing so well in terms of food. Okay, let's see how well we can do against this giant rat. So, we will battle against the giant rat. The giant rat has 6 HP, so we move this to 6. And now the way this works is you roll your dice. I'm going to move this to defensive, because when you're on defensive, you gain 1 armor and you can't miss. And the downside of defensive is that you can't get a critical hit, but since this enemy only has 6 max HP, it doesn't really matter whether or not I get a critical. So it's beneficial to just move to defense instead. Now we roll our dice. Whatever number comes up on the white die is how much damage we deal. And the black die determines whether or not the enemy hits us. If the enemy rolls a 1, they miss. If the enemy rolls a 2 through 5, they hit, but the amount of damage they deal is reduced by our armor, including the defensive stance. So if the rat rolled a 2 through 5, it would deal 1 damage since we're in defensive stance. However, if the enemy rolls a 6, their attack bypasses all armor, so it would deal 2 damage. So let's roll. We rolled a 5, the enemy rolled a 1, so we deal 5 damage, bringing the rat down to 1 HP, and the rat misses, so we take no damage. That's good. I think we're guaranteed to win this turn. We could still take poison damage, though. So let's roll again. We roll a 3. We take 1 damage from poison, but we defeat the rat, and we gain a reward, which is 1 XP. So let's reveal the next 2 rooms. Okay, if we go in this room, we have a chance of getting food. So I think we're gonna go in the corridor and hope we get some food. We rolled a 2. We failed the skill check, and we rolled a 2 on the dungeon die, which means that nothing happens, and we rolled the poison die, so we lose 1 HP. So far, this is not going too great, and now we've reached the end. We have no food, so we lose 3 HP, bringing us down to 2. This is going pretty bad. I said I didn't want to end up losing, but it looks like we're going to anyways. So we move to area 3. Let's get the rest of the room cards. I'm really hoping we get some food and some health in this next area. Perhaps a healing potion would be very nice. A healing potion heals 6 HP. Alright, area 3. And we start off with a trap. Oh no. We failed the skill check, and it was a pit, and we are dead. We lose 3 HP. Wow, that, I don't know if that could have gone any worse. Alright, well, we have to try again. Let's try a new game from the beginning. Okay, I'm not even going to bother reshuffling the bosses because we didn't see any. I just reset all of our stats and put us back to area 1, and now we're going to try again. Let's hope things go a little bit better this time. We start in a damp cave. And we rolled a 6. We failed the skill check. We actually are not poisoned anymore. So we are, well, no, we are poisoned because we got the dotted cap again. Oh boy. Let's see. Now we could go to the hunter and buy things, or we could go to the trap. I think we're going to go to the hunter. So, for 1 gold, we can buy some food. I think we're definitely going to do that after how quick we ran out of food last time. And then we can spend 3 gold on 4 HP. So let's do that. Bring us up to 14 HP. And then we will move on. So we ended up stocking up a little bit on the hunter. Let's go with the treasure, I think. So we gain +1 gold because no monster or trap has been encountered. And then we rolled the skill check. We passed the skill check for once. I think that's our first time passing a skill check in this game. But we rolled a 3 and we passed. So we can either get 2 gold or a fire potion. Let's get the fire potion. The fire potion lets us inflict 7 damage in battle. So that'll be useful. We'll save that. Now we can fight a monster, or we can go to a bonfire. A bonfire lets you refresh your skill. It has that symbol right there. That's the same as this symbol. And we can also choose one of these 3 effects. But I'm not really interested in that. We haven't used our skill, so we don't need to refresh it. And I'm not really interested in any of these things. We're going to fight the monster. So we're fighting the giant rat again. It has 6 HP. We'll go to defensive stance. And let's roll our first turn. We rolled it almost exactly the same as our first turn the last time we fought the giant rat. So we deal 5 damage. The enemy misses, and we lose 1 HP from the poison. And we roll again. We deal 5 damage, so even though the enemy rolled 6, we attack first, killing the enemy. And I forgot to reset this to 0, but now we're up to 1. And we rolled poison again, so we lose 1 HP again. And now we delve. So we lose 1 gold. We move to the next area, and we re-deal the cards. We start with a trap. Uh-oh. Let's roll the skill check. We fail the skill check. The bat swarm. So we take 1 damage from poison. We lose 1 food, and we are blinded. And so, to mark the blindness, I'm going to put this blind icon right here. Now, when you are blinded, you cannot see the upcoming rooms. So we have to blindly pick one. So let's pick this one, I guess. And it's a monster, a giant spider with 6 HP. So let's fight the giant spider. we're still in defensive stance. We rolled a 1. This would normally be a miss, but because we're in defensive stance, we deal 1 damage. And the enemy rolled a hit. They deal 2 damage, but we're in defensive stance, so we only take 1. Let's go again. Again, we rolled a 1. That was almost the exact same result. We deal 1 damage, and the enemy deals 1 damage. Let's try again. That's so insane. To roll the exact same result 3 times in a row. That's wild. So we deal 1 damage, the enemy deals 1 damage, and we go again. Okay, now we dealt 2 damage. We're really just chipping away at this guy. The enemy deals 1 damage, and this turn should do it. Yeah, we deal 2 damage. We kill the enemy, we take 1 damage from poison, we gain 1 XP. And let's shift this back up to balanced. And we are blind, so we don't get to choose. Let's just go this way. And it's another enemy. So we fight the mutant fly, which has 4 HP, and this has an icon next to the damage. That icon means that this enemy has armor piercing. So regardless of whether or not we have armor, this guy is going to deal 2 damage. So we're still gonna be in defensive stance because we don't want to miss on a 1. But regardless of defensive stance, this guy's still gonna deal 2 damage per turn. So let's roll. We rolled a 2, we deal 2 damage. The enemy rolled a 3, so it hits for 2 damage. And now let's go again. And we roll a 2 again, so we kill the enemy. We don't gain any XP for this one, we just gain gold. And we take 1 damage from poison. And this game is also not looking to be going very well, but we chose correctly. We get treasure. We get 2 gold because we've encountered a monster in this area. And now we roll the skill check. And we pass the skill check, but we take 1 damage from poison. And we get 1 armor or 2 XP. I think I'm going to take the armor. So now we get permanent plus 1 armor. Well, not permanent, we could lose it, but... And now we delve. So we lose 1 food, we go up, and we reshuffle the rest of the cards. I keep forgetting to use my character skills. I should be using that backstab. This time I'm going to save it for the boss, but I should remember to use it. First area is this trap again. And we fail the skill check. We take 1 damage and we're poisoned, but we are already poisoned, so. And we are still blind, so we have to pick randomly. We get this tomb. Let's see if we get anything good from the tomb. We fail the skill check, but we roll a 1, which is a holy potion. And so we get a holy potion, and I'm going to use the holy potion immediately because that will cure our blindness and our poison. So that's good. But we still have 1 HP, so. Now we can go to the shrine or the corridor. Let's go to the shrine, and now we can pay 1 gold to increase the result of our roll by 1, and we're gonna do that. So we pay 1 gold, and now we roll the dungeon die and we add 1 to the roll. And it doesn't matter. We still... Okay. So instead of a 1, we roll a 2. We are cursed. Now the curse works similar to the poison, except when the curse shows up, you subtract 1 from all of your white dice. So we were cursed. Which way do we want to go? We're going to go this way for sure, because we want that plus 2 HP. So we go to the bonfire, we get plus 2 HP. And now it's time to fight our first boss, the ghoul. So the ghoul deals 1 damage, saps 1 HP. That's what that symbol means. It means this enemy saps XP when they hit us. And has armor piercing. So now I can't remember if throwing the fire potion counts as your turn. Let's see. Okay, it says you use your offensive potion after you roll. So I'm going to use the backstab skill. The backstab skill lets us double the result of 1 dice roll. And we rolled a 6. That's perfect. And the enemy rolled a 1. I forgot to put this to... I meant to put this to balance, but it doesn't matter because I'm not going to use the critical hit. So the way critical hits work is that if you get a critical hit, you get to roll again. It's kind of like 4 Against Darkness, where you roll again and then you add the result of the next roll. However, the catch with critical hits is that you can choose whether or not you want to roll again. And if you choose to roll again and your second roll is a miss, it cancels out your entire attack. So say you roll a 6 and then a 1, you miss. You deal no damage. Even if you roll a 6 and then a 6 and then a 6 and then a 1, you deal no damage. It completely cancels out the attack. So, very risky. So, I forgot to set the HP. So, the ghoul has 16 HP. We use the backstab on the 6. We deal 12 damage, bringing it down to 4. And now I think I actually am going to use the fire potion and finish off the ghoul. I don't want to take any risks. So the fire potion finishes off the ghoul. We take no damage, which is good because we barely had any HP. And our reward is 3 XP. We go up to 5 XP, and we get 1 roll on the rewards card. So first you get plus 2 gold automatically, so we go up to 7 gold immediately. And then we roll the dungeon die. And whatever we roll, we get that result. We rolled a 6, so we get 1 of these, either a perception potion, which cures blindness or lets you automatically pass a skill check, or we can get plus 1 armor instead, and I think I'm going to take the armor. So we're now at 2 armor. And so we have defeated the boss, and now we delve like normal. We lose 1 food, we refresh our skill, we move to the next area, area 4, and now we take all the cards again, and we shuffle. Our first area it's a trap again. Okay. Well, now I'm kind of wishing I took that perception potion, but we'll see what happens. So, we fail the skill check and we get a rat swarm. We lose food equal to our floor, but we have no food. Now, when you delve and you have no food, you lose 3 HP, but if you lose food in another instance and you have none, you use the general rule for when something requires you to pay a resource and you don't have it, which is 1 HP per resource. So say we had 0 XP and we got a result that requires us to take away 1 XP. We would lose 1 HP instead. Works the same way with food, gold, armor, whatever. If you have to pay a resource and you don't have that resource, you lose 1 HP. The exception is when you're delving. You lose 3 if you don't have the food. So anyways, all I'm saying is we lose 2 HP. Not looking good for us. Let's see what our options are here. Oh, this is awesome. The empty shelter was like the best thing we could have gotten. So when you go in the empty shelter, it says up 10 HP. That means no matter what your HP is at, you raise yourself to 10. That was exactly what we needed. Okay, I feel a lot better now. And our character is feeling a lot better too. So now we roll the skill check. And we pass the skill check, so we can add plus or minus 1 to our roll. We rolled a 2, which is the fighter's shelter. And I think we're not going to add 1, obviously. And it doesn't matter if we subtract 1 because 1 and 2 are both the fighter's shelter. So we can choose between a fire potion, a poison potion, or 2 XP. I'm going to take the 2 XP, which puts us up to level 2. Now when you level up, all that does is it means you take another white die, and you add it to your dice pool. So we now roll 2 white die. That effectively means we do double damage in battle, and we have twice as much of a chance to pass a skill check. Because when you pass a skill check, only one of your dice needs to pass. So leveling up is very good, very helpful. Let's reveal the next 2 areas. We've got a merchant or a tomb. Unfortunately, this merchant doesn't sell food, which is what I really want. We might go to the tomb in hopes that we can get some food. In fact, I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's go to the tomb. And we roll. And we failed the skill check, and we rolled a 6, which is a ghost. We have to fight a ghost. But I think since we have 2 armor, we're all set here. So, the ghost has... We are on floor 2, so we fight a ghost. You can see this is the floor icon. I don't know how easy it is to see because it's very small, but that means depending on what floor you're on, we're on floor 2, the slippery steps, so we fight the ghost. The ghost has 12 HP. It deals 2 damage and weakens. The weaken effect only happens if the enemy actually hits you. Since we have 2 armor, the enemy can't hit us unless they roll a 6 on the dungeon die. So we're actually pretty safe here to not take damage. Let's see what happens. Now, we rolled a 6, but we also rolled the curse. So this is actually only a 5. So we deal 5 damage, bringing the ghost down to 7 HP. And the ghost rolled a 1, so even if we didn't have 2 armor, the ghost still would have missed. Let's try again. And that's going to be enough to do it. 5 and 4 is 9. That's enough to kill the... Actually, wait. We subtract 1 from each because we got the curse. So 3 and 4 is 7, which is exactly enough to kill the ghost. So we barely had enough damage. We gain 2 XP because that's the reward for the ghost. Alright. Now the next area is a monster, a goblin warrior. So the goblin warrior has 9 HP. And I think this should be easier. Now the goblin warrior does deal 4 damage, so we will take 2 if this goes more than 1 turn. Or 4 if the monster rolls a 6, which would be bad. Let's see what happens. We rolled a 6 and a 3, but we also rolled the curse. So that's a 5 and a 2. We deal 7 damage. Monster has 2 HP remaining. It rolls a 4, so it deals 4 damage minus our 2 armor means it deals 2 HP. I'm now realizing that I should have used backstab because we're going to refresh our skill in the next room. I always forget to use the skills. But we'll go to defensive stances, and we're basically guaranteed here. Unless we roll 2 1s and a curse. Which we did not. We did roll a curse, but we rolled a 6, so we did enough damage to kill the goblin warrior. We gained 2 XP, and that's it. Now we move to the next area. We don't have any food, so we lose 3 HP, going down to 5. We don't have to refresh our skill because we didn't use it. We move up to floor 5, which is a boss floor, so on this next floor, we will be fighting a boss. And let's shuffle the deck for the next area. Are in the damp cave. Let's roll our skill check. We passed the skill check and we landed on 6. So let's subtract 1 from our roll. So instead of a 6, we get 5, which means we get 2 XP. We got the glowing cap. So that's good. We got some XP. We'd like some food. That's what we would really like. Let's go to the corridor because we have a chance of getting some food. We roll a 6, and we failed the skill check, so we get ambushed by a ghost. And we're on floor 2, so once again, it is the level 2 ghost, 12 HP. So, let's start the battle. That's a pretty bad roll. I meant to be on balanced. I forgot to move it back, but it doesn't matter. We roll a 2, so we deal 2 damage. We rolled a 3, but we rolled the curse, so it's a 2. But luckily, the enemy rolled a 1, so they missed. Actually, we have 2 armor anyways, so the enemy has to roll a 6 to do any damage. And, okay, now we roll a 4, no curse. The enemy rolls a 4, but we have 2 armor again. So, we bring the enemy down to 6 HP. Now I'm gonna switch to defensive because we don't need crits anymore. And we roll a 6. We rolled a 6, but we also rolled the curse, so we only deal 5 damage. And the enemy rolled a 6, so the enemy deals 2 damage, and we lose 1 XP. Uh-oh. And our last turn here. That is enough to kill. We kill the enemy, we gain 2 XP. So we at least gain back the XP that we lost. But we're pretty low on HP once again. We really need food. Okay, let's go with the trap. We have a chance of getting 2 food here if we're lucky. So let's go with the trap. We're hoping for a passed skill check and a 3 or 4 on the dungeon die. We did roll a 3, but we rolled 1s on both of our character dice. So we are blinded once again, and we lose 1 armor. That was a pretty bad result, and we still have no food. Oh, but that's perfect. Oh, wait. I accidentally flipped both of them even though we were blind. But this was the first one I flipped. I know this was the favorable one, so it does kind of feel like cheating that I'm picking this one, but this was the first one that I flipped, so I'm going to go with this one. And we can buy food here. Costs gold equal to our floor, so 2 gold per food. I'm going to buy, let's buy 2 food, so that's 4 gold. And then we're going to spend our last 3 gold on the 4 HP, so we go up to 7 HP. Alright, we're in a bit better shape now. Still pretty low on HP though. But now it's time to fight another boss. The Spider Queen. And we're on floor 2. So the Spider Queen has 16 HP. And it deals 4 damage and poisons. So let's see how this goes. We're going to go unbalanced here. Actually, yeah, let's go unbalanced just in case we can get a crit maybe. We did not. 2 4s and a curse, so we deal 6 damage, bringing the Spider Queen down to 10 HP. The Spider Queen deals 4 damage, -1 for our armor, so 3 damage, bringing us down to 4 HP. And she poisons us. Alright, let's try again. That's perfect. So we did roll the poison dice, so we take 1 HP, but we dealt 10 damage, which is exactly how much we needed to deal to take out the Spider Queen. So we gained 3 XP, putting us at 17, and we get a roll on the rewards table. We get 2 gold, and we roll the dungeon dice. We rolled a 6 again, so we get a choice of 1 armor or the perception potion. I think I'm going to take the armor again to get back the armor that we lost. So, we've defeated the Spider Queen. We lose 1 food. I just realized we could have backstabbed. We wouldn't have won the fight any faster if we backstabbed, though. But I have to remember to use those skills. I'm so bad at remembering. And we move to the next area. It's kind of been quite precarious. We've been very kind of on the border of death for a lot of this delve. Our first area is the hunter again. And we can buy food again because we have 2 gold. Or we can buy a blessing to cure our blindness. Let's buy the blessing. We spend 2 gold and we cure all our status effects, not just the blindness. So we cure both the curse and the poison and the blindness. So I think that was definitely worth it. The food was tempting, but I think the blessing was better. And we don't have any gold left, so let's move on. Now the merchant is useless because we don't have any gold. So I guess we'll do the trap. We could skip the trap, but I would like one of those rewards. And with the 2 dice, we're level 2, I think we have a decent chance of succeeding. So let's take the gamble. We fail the gamble. We lose equal to our floor in health and we're poisoned. Why did I take that gamble? We lose 2 HP and the poison. Oh boy. It's not looking so good now. Okay. Let's go to the hermit. We're gonna do this, I think. We're just gonna lose that health again if we don't get food before the end of the floor. But we may as well just do it now. So we'll spend 1 food, gain 3 HP. Let's see what our next option is. Okay. Really hoping we can get food here to save us the 3 HP from the delve. So let's roll. We passed the skill check and we got a 3. Nice. So we get food. We will not have to suffer 3 damage from the delve. So we lose 1 food. We refresh our skill, but we didn't use it. We move up to floor 3, area 7. We're getting close to the end. Our first room is the empty shelter. Awesome. We go up to 10 HP and we roll. We roll 3, the mage's trap. We lose 1 XP. Honestly, that's okay. Could have been much worse. I mean, I guess it couldn't have been that worse. It could have been the rogue's trap where we lose 3 HP. So, not too bad, honestly. We can choose between the trap or the armory. Let's go with the armory. So, the armory lets us get a weapon. The weapon gives us free feats if we pass a skill check. So, feats are something I haven't really gone over yet, but in a battle, you can choose to use a feat, which is you either pay 1 XP or you pay 2 HP, and it lets you re-roll one of your character dice. Now you can only do this once per die, so you can't just keep re-rolling over and over, but it's a good kind of like get yourself out of a bad situation play. And if we have one of these items, we can do a feat for free. We don't have to pay the XP or the HP, we can just do it for free. So let's roll the skill check. We failed the skill check, so we do not get an item, unfortunately. Now we can choose between the trap or the hermit, the bonfire. I think the last time I gambled on a trap, it did not work. Surely, we're not gonna get unlucky again. We passed the skill check. Okay. We rolled a 3, we passed the skill check, which means we gain 2 XP, which means we go up to level 3. We get a 3rd character dice. Awesome. And now, I really want to get food before we take this delve. So let's go with the corridor, try to get us some food. We pass, and we rolled a 4 anyways, so we get food regardless. And now, we reach the end. We lose 1 food, refresh our skill, move to the next area, and now we shuffle up for the next area. And this next area is going to be a boss area. So we will be fighting another boss. And we start off with a trap. We should have a pretty good chance of passing the skill check now that we have 3 dice. And we do pass the skill check. We gain a perception potion. Alright, next area. Now we're on floor 3, so if we choose to fight the monster, we will be fighting the dire wolf. And if we kill the dire wolf, we get 1 food. I think we're going to try to do that. We're also going to switch to defensive stance because the dire wolf only has 8 HP. So, however, it deals 5 armor piercing damage, so if we don't kill it on this first turn, we take a lot of damage. Let's see what happens. Ooh, and we did not kill it on the first turn. We only dealt 5 damage, so it goes down to 3. And it deals 5 armor piercing damage, bringing us down to 5 HP. Oh, that's bad. Okay, well. And we take it out on the second turn. We gain 1 food, but we lost 5 HP, so not a good trade. The food would have prevented us from taking 3 damage, but we took 5 damage. Ultimately, we lost 2 HP. Not worth it. Now let's see. We have no gold if we go with the hunter. Let's go with the armory again. We'll see if we can pass this skill check. And we do. We get the fair longsword. So we'll put this item over here. The fair longsword gives us 2 free feats. So we'll put the cube there. I just have to remember I have that. And now we move to this area. It's a trap. So let's roll. We pass the check, and we rolled a 1. So we gain a poison potion. That'll be useful against the boss. Speaking of which, it's time to fight the boss. The King's Protector. So a poison potion deals 4 damage every turn, including the turn that you use it. Now, we'll see if we want to use it after our attack roll. So the King's Protector deals 6 armor-piercing damage. We have to kill him on the first turn or we lose. So, okay. We're gonna use our backstab skill, obviously. And I'm honestly thinking about going into an aggressive stance. Surely we roll at least 1, 5, or 6. And then, like I said, if you roll a critical, the die explodes, so you can roll again. And when you use backstab, it applies to the total roll. So if I roll an exploding die, I roll a 6 and then a 5, adds up to 11, and then I use backstab to double that die, I deal 22 damage. So we're gonna go with the aggressive stance. And first of all, we take 1 damage from poison. Now we rolled 6 plus 5. Now I could just double the 5, and that would be 16 damage. So that would be 16 damage, and then I could use the poison potion, but that would only be 19. It wouldn't be enough to kill, and we have to kill on this turn. So we're gonna go with the critical hit, see if we can get... It just needs to not be a 1 or a 2. And it was a 5. So this is a 10. We doubled the roll with backstab. That on its own would be enough to kill the King's Protector. Although I just realized he rolled a 1. I didn't even look at that. So he missed. So it actually didn't matter. I was more stressed out than I needed to be. And we had the 2 feats. I forgot about that as well. Okay, well, anyways, regardless, we won the battle. Let's not think about it too hard. So we gain 4 XP. That puts us at 22. And if you're wondering what the point of XP is after you've gotten to level 3, is that once you reach 23 XP, every XP point you get after that adds to your HP. So that's pretty helpful. So we gain 4 XP and we roll on the rewards table. So we gain 2 gold and we see what reward we get. We get 5, a holy potion, or 2 gold. The holy potion basically acts as a blessing, and I think I want that. I'm going to lose the perception potion and replace it with a holy potion. Alright, we defeat the King's Protector, and we delve again. We lose 1 food, we refresh our skills, we move to area 9, and we're getting pretty close to the end now. Our first room is a shrine, and I think I'm not going to pay the gold. I think we're just going to gamble. No, I am going to pay the gold. We'll pay the 1 gold, so we add 1 to our roll. Let's see what we get. We roll a 2, so we get a 3. We are cursed. So, I think I'm actually going to use the holy potion right now and cure both the curse and the poison. So we lose our holy potion, but I think that was worth it. Now we can go for the treasure or the trap. Now if we do the trap, we do have a chance of getting some food, which would be nice. I think I am going to try to get the food. Hopefully we can get some food. We do pass the skill check, and we did roll a 4, so we get 2 food. Nice. And that's all the food we need for the rest of the game. We don't need any more food. We're all set. And I think I'm going to go to the bonfire, and we're going to heal 2 HP. So we go up to 6. Our next room is a trap. Let's see what we get. We pass passed the skill check, and we rolled a 3, so we gain 1 armor. That's great. That's awesome. And our final delve phase, we go down to 1 food. We don't need any more food though, so that's perfect. Refresh our character skill, move to the next area, the final area. We might actually clear the dungeon. It was so precarious at so many points, but it looks like we might actually do it. But the final boss can be quite tough, so we'll see. Our first room is the Hermit. Let's share a meal, because we don't need this food. This is our last floor. We don't have any more delve phases after this floor, so we lose 1 food, we gain 3 HP, putting us at 9. Alright. We can choose the shrine or the trap. Let's go with the shrine. I'm going to pay 1 gold to add 1 to our roll. We rolled a 6, so we gain 1 HP. And I'm guessing if you get a 6 and you add 1, you just do the 6. I don't remember what it says in the rulebook for that, but I'm assuming that's what it is. And now let's see. We can fight a monster, or we can get the crow. Fighting the monster does not seem worth it. Look, I mean, it does 8 damage. We don't have any food to pay the crow. We also don't have any gold. So, because we have to lose a gold, but we don't have any gold, we lose 1 HP. And now the trap. Would be nice to get some XP here, because that would heal us if we get the +2 XP. We pass, and we get a 4, so we do get the +2 XP, so we go to 23. And then at this point, any XP we get adds to our HP. So that brings us to 10 HP. And now we fight the final boss with 10 HP. Now, the final boss is basically 2 bosses. You have to beat his first phase, and then you have to beat his second phase. And I couldn't find this in the rulebook or the FAQ, but I think if you use the potion, the poison potion, it only lasts for 1 phase, and then once you kill that phase, it resets. So we're going to use it in the first phase. We're going to be fighting on a balanced stance, I think. So if he hits us, he deals 8 damage and curses us. Let's set his HP, 25. Okay, and let's save the backstab, because we're going to use the poison potion during this phase. We'll save the backstab for the second phase. And we rolled 5 and 4 is 9, and I'm going to use a feat to re-roll this one. We rolled a 2, so 5, 9, 11. We deal 11 damage, bringing him down to 14. Now he's going to deal 8 damage and curse. So 8 minus 3 is 5. We're at 10 HP, he brings us down to 5. And I think now I'm going to switch to defensive stance. Oh wait, and then I use the poison potion, right? Okay, so use poison. So the poison deals 4 damage. I'm supposed to do that before I take damage, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So we deal 4 more damage, bringing him down to 10. Now it's the next turn. Let's roll again. Like I said, we're going to go to defensive stance here. And that's more than enough to get the kill right there. So he did roll a 6, but we cancel it out because we kill him first. So we drop him down to 0 HP. Now he resets to 20, and it starts like a brand new fight. So I think the poison wears off. He doesn't get his attack off because we start the fight again from the beginning. Now, I'm going to switch back to balanced, and I'm going to backstab. So we get to double the power of one of our rolls this turn. Ooh, that was brutal. Wow. We're going to use a feat for sure. So we lose the item. And let's see what we get, but it's it's not looking so good. So, 5, we double that, we get 10 and deal 12. That's not going to be enough. So we deal 12 damage, bringing him down to 8, but he deals 9 to us. -3 is 6. We don't have enough HP to survive. And on the final phase of the final boss, we go down. So unfortunate, but that's how it had to go down. Also, I forgot to add the curse, but it wouldn't have mattered. Let's see. Okay, it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, unfortunately, we do not win the game. We just barely. We made it so close. But that was still really fun, really exciting. I hope you enjoyed it. Now for our next non-solitaire tabletop video, we're probably gonna just go back to 4 Against Darkness, like we were doing before. I just wanted to take a break and try something new. But if you enjoyed this game, maybe we can play it again later. Maybe we can try another class, or maybe we can try the campaign mode. You'll have to let me know if that sounds interesting, if you want to see this game again. But I thought it was really fun and exciting, and I think it was definitely worth the buy. I'll include a link in the description of the video where you can buy this game if you're interested in trying it yourself. It is a whole lot of fun. And so I just want to say thanks to the Dungeon Dive. I think I've been calling them the Dungeon Delve. The channel is actually called the Dungeon Dive. But it was his video that got me interested in trying this game. And his channel is much bigger than mine, so he doesn't need a shout out from me, but I'm gonna give it anyways. Consider checking out the Dungeon Dive if you want to see some cool single-player tabletop games. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great night and sleep well.